All right, welcome everybody. I hope you guys are doing well this Sunday afternoon if you're in the UK or morning here in the States. I am just going to kind of take it easy today and do some rough turning. I've got quite a bit of Sweetgum, which I will show that I got cut into blanks yesterday. I've got 5 here. One of them, the biggest, is 15 inches. Then I got 2 at 11, 1 at 9, and 1 at 7.5. I've got my buddy Double D here, which I'll go ahead and put in the background. I think I'm going to start off with one of the 11-inch ones just to get some practice. So, Double D, if you want to run through the chat real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. In the chat right now, we have Bill Ellis and Scott Tague. I think there's some other lives that are kind of going on too. So I'm sure we'll start seeing those numbers climb, but that's who we got in so far. So thanks for joining.
Scott and William, I've just got a hole drilled for a worm screw. Go ahead and turn that lathe down lower and thread that on there. I think I may have drilled the holes a little too soon. No, there you go. Now we'll lock the spindle and tighten it down. All right. So
and Lewis, the Klondike Craftsman, has joined. Hi, Lewis.
Welcome, Lewis. There's a bit of split here, but hopefully that'll get turned away when I form the outside of the bowl.
And Copper Owl Woodturning has joined as well. Welcome.
Welcome, Copper. I don't recognize that name.
I was going to say I'm not sure on that one myself, but welcome.
If it's your first time, thanks for joining.
Nick Castle has joined. Hi, Nick.
Welcome, Nick. And I will go ahead and get my Lathe Master 3/4 inch bowl gouge so I can try and do this quick since I got 5 of them. I can already feel water slinging off.
You needed a shower anyway, right?
Yeah. So I got the lathe at 800, nearly 900. You can see the water.
Wow.
Right there. This was, I think the tree fell down or was cut down almost a year ago, but it had just been laying there for about a year. And the tree was about close to 4 foot in diameter at the trunk.
Blair with Good Turn Daily has joined. Martin with Four King Owls says hello, twins and Harry. And Tommy's Workshop, Joe Garofalo has joined as well. Robert Dolman and Stace Makes. So we've got them coming in now. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, everybody. Go ahead and switch cameras to this one.
Lawrence Bugasia has joined. Welcome.
Yeah, this is super wet. My shirt's going to be soaked.
Hope everybody is preparing to have a good weekend.
Now, one thing with Sweetgum is it tends to crack a lot. You can see the grain. I love Sweetgum, but it tends to crack a lot. So a lot of people will do the 10% rule on the wall thickness, but I tend to go about 15% or so. So I'm just going to go ahead and start forming the tenon here.
Steve said that you sound very quiet. I don't notice that, but I don't know if that's because I'm in StreamYard as opposed to YouTube. So,
is this any better?
Sounds louder to me. Let's see what people say in the chat here. I'll let you know.
I might have to switch headsets or something. Let me see which.
Scott says it is better. Steve said it's a little better too. So
let me try and see if I can do something.
you just need to spend like $20,000 and get one of those voice boxes that get mounts directly to your Adam's apple, so then you don't have to talk very loud. Special ops and such.
You guys be better?
Yeah, people say it seems better. Martin said it sounds fine.
All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm not sure what's going on. I know there's a kind of an issue at the end of my last live. Gonna switch to a smaller gouge to shape the tenon. Now,
Douglas Mungham has joined. Hi, Douglas.
I'm gonna go ahead and make the tenon a little larger than usual because I'll have to reshape it once it dries and goes out around.
Mr. Doug Miller is in the house, as is Yak Branson. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, Doug and Yak.
And don't forget to mash those thumbs, people, if you like what Hodge does. Definitely supply that support to help his channel grow. He's closing in on the 900 subscriber mark. And then after that, hopefully we can get him up to 1,000. So...
all right, so I'm pretty much done with, well, I'll take one more pass and clean up this bump.
Uh-oh, one more pass.
I don't think there's anything to be worried about. Don't really want to move the tourist.
It's just what Steve always says before he funnels it. One more pass. And Seth with Brickhouse Craftworks has joined. Ruby Claire has also joined.
Welcome, Ruby.
And welcome, both of you.
Go ahead and get, actually, since I'm doing kind of production, I'm not going to rough this out until afterwards, so I don't have to take the screw chuck or the worm screw out. But I love Sweetgum. That was actually the first wood that I ever got before I ever got a lathe, so it's got some really interesting figure. The dark here is obviously the heartwood, and then we got the sapwood.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Golf to Actual has joined from Carlisle, Pennsylvania. Welcome.
I'm going to go ahead and do the other 11-inch blank.
Ruby says that's a pretty piece of wood. Yeah, I agree. You got, what, a whole pickup truck load of Sweetgum?
Yeah, I got a whole pickup load full of it, like easily 4 or 5 bowl blanks that are 20 inches in diameter, quite a few hollow form sort of blanks that I can make, I don't know, tons of them out of.
Oh, that's great. David Deadman has joined. He says, hi, everybody. First time watching this channel. Welcome, David.
Welcome, David. So now I got the next 11-inch blank mounted, and I'll just kind of do the same roughing out.
Yak says that the gum wood that they have is very blonde. So I don't know if that's just maybe a different species or what, but be interesting to see some pictures, Yak.
So now I'll start.
Circular Wood by Keith has joined. Hi, Keith.
Welcome, Keith.
And just as a reminder to everybody, on the 27th, there's the virtual craft fair that Hodge is a part of. So he'll be going live and doing a live piece on that day. So make sure and check that out and follow that.
Turn the speed up a little more. Move my phone.
Wood Wizardry by Colin has joined. Hi, Colin.
Welcome, Colin. I think I need to start putting a trash can down here by my feet because I know where all the shavings end up accumulating, and I can just kind of throw them in there.
Save them and put them in resin.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
One thing I figure I'll do when I get my shop set up is save as much of that as I can and then use them to make fire starters with the cardboard egg cartons.
Yeah, I've seen some people do that before.
Andy H is for turning has joined. Hi, Andy.
Welcome, Andy. So then on this one, if you can see it, there's a bit of a crack. This was near the pith, so I'm going to have to turn it. There's a crack that goes around here, so I'm going to turn that off. It's going to be a little thin on the rim. Hopefully that won't make a difference when I do the rough turning, or the second turning. Go to
Bill Ellis said that Rod Humphrey does that, so saves the wood shavings for that. That's good to know.
Still a little more to go.
Ruby says that if she does a lot of roughing out, she's been known to have a can strategically placed. It's a good plan. Probably saves a lot of time on cleanup for sure, Ruby.
Yeah, and with this wood being so wet, it's going to be to make sure to get it off anything metal. So I'm going to go back and shape this tin in a bit.
Andy H did his first live the other day. It was a pretty cool piece he made.
Yeah, it was a cool eccentric candle holder.
Yeah.
Raise the toolist.
Had that sphere right in the middle. It was pretty good. So good job on your first live there, Andy. Can't wait to see more of them. Oh, Ruby corrected 3 cans, not just 1, 3 cans.
Yeah, I mean, one right here. And then once do a hollowing, it'll be on the back side of the lathe. Just gonna. All right, that's good enough for rough turning. I think I'll go ahead and move on to the bigger blank, just for fun. I should tighten the set screw on my chuck so I don't have to deal with this. Okay, guess I'll do that now. That didn't work.
So I had a question for the audience, and Hodge, of course, you can chime in if you want also, but I was just thinking, since I haven't been turning a long time, I'm coming up on my 1 year, just kind of wanted to get thoughts as to what other turners people have watched or learned from, and who are they, and what have you learned from them? Rob CP has also joined. Hi, Rob. Did you get your pair finished over on your live?
I know when I first started turning, I basically learned about turning from the Woodturning group that's nearby. So I learned a lot from them, and they would have, I think the first demonstrator they had come in was Jimmy Clues, which I paid attention to a lot. So I've got one of his bowl gouges, and if you notice, most of these platters I'm doing are kind of like his OG platter that I saw during the demonstration.
Okay. Hugh from Wouldn't It Be Nice has joined for a moment. Hi, Hugh. He's an important rugby game that he can't miss out too much on.
So this bowl platter blank is right under 15 inches. It's got a bit of a chainsaw mark here, so I'll have to turn that off.
Yak Branson says that Robo Hippie is the king of using a scraper. I haven't seen a lot of his videos, but I subscribed because he had a really cool negative pressure 55-gallon drum setup for sanding that I kind of want to mimic for when I get my shop set up. So I need to watch some of his stuff. Douglas Mungham says, I watch everyone and try what they do within reason, of course.
Just trying to get rid of some of the out of balance before I turn up the speed. Right now I'm at 600.
Benjamin has joined. Ruby Claire says, if you're a new turner, Theo Haralampu is good to watch. He does demos for Record Power on a regular basis. Thanks, Ruby. That's always good to know. I like to recommend good turners, and since you're a good turner, I absolutely take your advice. Copper Owl says that they watch and learn a lot from Jim Sprague. I like a lot of what Sprague Woodturning does with the inlays and things. Is really, really good. Tommy's Workshop says Robo Hippie, Mike Walt, Steve T, and Robbo Robertson are all good as well. I agree. So I will tell you that since I've only been turning since roughly May of last year, I will tell you that Duca Heritage and Hodge are actually the ones who got me interested in turning more. I had a lathe, but I hadn't done much. But in watching Hodge and Duca Heritage got me interested. And then I started watching some others that really piqued my interest. And I've developed what I think are good friendships with them. And that's Steve Twidell over at Temple Boy Turnings, Lewis at Klondike Craftsman, Mark the Gentleman Wood Turner, Ruby Claire. There's so many good turners out there. The main thing is just watching technique and learning what works well, how it works, and making sure to be safe as always.
Move the tool rest a bit. Still got quite a bit of the chainsaw mark left, about 5/8 of an inch maybe.
Okay. Steve Scott says, I'm a beginner. Watched Alan Batty, Colin Way, Keith all describe tool presentation well. Also seen some that are dangerous. Yes, there are people who do some really crazy things in a very unsafe manner. Yak says that Barbara Dill is great for off-center turning. Yes, she is. She did the Rob and Steve show, which is a channel out on YouTube. They do lives every Wednesday, and they do interviews. They interviewed Ruby Claire for one of their first interviews, but just a couple of weeks ago, they interviewed Barbara Dill and talked about that, and that was a really good interview. So if you have not seen or heard of that channel, go check them out because they talk about wood and technique and tools. So definitely one to check out.
So, kind of one thing I guess you got to realize is, since it's a bigger platter, I figured I should probably size the tin into my bigger chuck, which I didn't do initially, so I'll fix that mistake here.
Steve Combs has joined. Hi, Steve.
Clean up any of the major ridges, and then finish shaping the larger tenon.
There is a link I just put out there to Rob and Steve Live and Uncut. That's their channel. They do, like I said, they do lives every Wednesday evening. So check them out. Sorry, Thursday evenings, I guess.
See how this looks. All right, so the chainsaw mark's gone. Again, it's got some awesome grain. This is all from the center section of a trunk. So there's a pith on this side, and then I had another half. So it was a pretty big tree.
That would be a large tree.
And from what I was told by the other guy that invited me to get some wood, is that Sweetgum, as it matures, gets much more interesting figure. So that's pretty cool.
If only that worked with me. I could get a better figure if I matured.
I think that's what everybody says. I'm actually skinnier than I was in high school now.
All this woodworking will do that to you.
Yeah. Just using my point tool to define the dovetail.
Ben Jamin says that Ray Key's box videos are very good.
All right, that'll work.
Yeah, it's always good to know good turners to watch. And Andy had mentioned earlier that you can learn from others' mistakes. You absolutely can. I have enough of my own mistakes, so I'd rather see some good technique and learn there. So
that's 3 out of 5 done.
Rob CP says, would people tell me if I was an unsafe turner? They probably would. I mean, I think that most of us are friends enough that we would tell you if you were being unsafe. Douglas Mungham says that the wood looks really good. Yeah, that figuring is amazing in that. And yes, Ruby, I agree. Ruby would absolutely tell you if you're being unsafe and how you can fix it. That's the kind of person she is.
So now I got some smaller ones. I guess, what am I at? 25 minutes. I've got a really large, deep bowl that I can't really core with, so I might do that one next, or after this little one, I suppose. This one is 7.5 inches in diameter.
Tommy's Workshop. Tommy says, I've probably taken little bits from 20 or 30 year YouTube turners over the past few years. I tend to try most techniques, but some suit my style better. That's the key. That's absolutely the key, is seeing what works for you in a safe manner and going from there.
Yeah, after a while of watching some of the YouTube other channels, I'll find certain people that just kind of have similar techniques as I do. I feel like Rob Brandt is one of those people.
Yeah.
Not just because he has a Powermatic lathe, but I feel like he has kind of a similar style as I do.
Well, he turns barefoot, you turn in flip-flops, so, it's very similar.
I've got trying to take too big of cuts.
Seth says that one of the most informative videos he's ever watched was a demo by Stuart Batty on how gouge is cut.
I think I've watched that a long time ago, though.
Yeah, I think it's the channel name How to Turn a Wood Bowl or something like that. He does some pretty informative videos as well. Copper Owl Woodturning now wants to get their hands on some Sweetgum.
Copper Owl, where are you located? If you're in Texas, I can maybe give you some. Start shaping the tip. Oh, there's a crack in this one.
Copper Owl is up in Michigan.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to drive that far.
I'm in Kansas, which is about halfway there, maybe a little bit less, but I have a big Sweetgum in my front yard. My wife will not let me cut down. Scott Tigg says that Dean's Woodworking is a good channel.
Dean's Woodworking is actually a guy that's in the same club as I am locally, the Gulf Coast Woodturners. I saw that he posted his channel on the Facebook group.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, he does more. His channel is very kind of demo style, teaching you all the steps and everything.
Douglas Mungham asks, Hodge, I'm in the UK. Any chance?
Maybe I'll try to smuggle some in my suitcase if I ever come to visit.
Yak indicates that Worth the Effort's a good channel. I agree. He does some really good informative stuff, but he does like his shop build that he just did was really good as well. CDA Woodturning has joined. Hi, I think that's Dan. Hi, Dan.
I don't think this one's gonna last. There's a couple cracks at the bottom. Maybe I'll put some Star Bond.
Yeah, use some Star Bond Black.
Save some Star Bond. I've got a code for 15% off. Affiliate link in the description below. So I think that'll be as far as I go with this bowl. As far as shaping, I'll get a tenon on it just for fun, but I think this one will end up going in the trash because there's some cracks already.
Still getting sprayed pretty good?
Yeah, it's all wet.
Yeah.
I'll definitely have to clean off my lead bedways later.
Nick Castle said you would need a very large suitcase.
Yeah.
Seth has to leave. Have a good day, Seth. Enjoy your weekend. I'm sure we'll chat again, but have a good one.
All right, so I got one more 9-inch bit to do. And then I'll go to the hollowing part, I suppose. Actually, I'll leave that 9-inch since it's the halfway point. Take out the worm screw.
And don't forget to hit those thumbs up if you like what Hodge is doing.
Go ahead and put in this 11-inch blank.
Brad Brooks has joined. Welcome, Brad.
Welcome, Brad.
Anybody have any important or fun plans for the weekend?
Seems like it's moved a little bit, or it's just not centered, so I'll bring up the tailstock and try to center it better. I know a lot of kids here in the States have spring break next week, so...
Brad's plan for the weekend? Eating seafood. Doug wants to finish his water project. That'll be awesome, Doug. Can't wait to see it.
So now I'll just start hollowing it out, and I'll probably leave roughly an inch wall thickness, maybe a little more.
Andy H is for turning, has to run. Have a good one, Andy. Thanks for coming by.
See you later, Andy.
Doug Miller asks, what are folks doing to protect computers in the shop? Do you have to worry much about, what do you do, Hodge, to keep your computer from getting filthy?
I mean, I'll blow it off with an air compressor after every day, basically, and then I try to keep the fan in the back not blocked by anything. I'll close it and turn it off when I'm not using it, so the fan's not sucking air in or whatever while it's just not used. I'm going to take the tailstock away now.
Ruby is attending a meeting of the Society of Ornamental Turners. Yak is going to take a Manitoba maple bowl to a customer. Speaking of that, I bought a couple of table pieces that I'm going to use and make river tables, and one of them is a flaming box elder. So I'm really excited about that one.
So
Bill Ellis says, don't forget those two fantastic Woodturners premieres tomorrow at 1 and 1:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Thanks for the shout out there, Bill. Just a reminder, especially for those of you in the UK, here in the United States, we have our daylight savings time thing happening tonight. I know that you guys are, what is it, the last weekend of the month?
Yeah, the 27th is theirs. Or
Yeah.
28th.
Yeah, so just be aware of that. There will be additional time difference in that between tomorrow and when you all have your time change, which personally I think they need to get rid of the time change, but they don't pay me enough to make those decisions. So just be aware of it.
All right, so getting close to what I'd say a uniform thickness.
Brad, go ahead.
Is Ruby still in? Because I've read something somebody said about the edges, and if you round them over, if that'll help prevent cracking. I don't know if that's just some wives' tale or there's any logic behind it. I was wondering if she had an opinion on it.
Yeah, I'll see if she posts anything. Brad Brooks says that there's plenty of Sweetgum in North Carolina. Whereabouts in North Carolina, Brad? My parents live just south of Charlotte.
I think that'll be it for this one.
Ruby says it's a wives' tale.
All right. That's what I thought. I never did it before until I heard this guy. I really need to tighten this chuck better.
Ben, yay, all the clocks in my house will be correct again. I'm too lazy to change them. I just add or subtract an hour. That's awesome.
Okay. This wood really grabs hold of the worm screw. Now just.
Is that because it's so wet, or
maybe because I just ended up taking the nose of chuck off of the insert. So now, actually, I don't even know I'm trying to take this off this way. Just loosen the wood. There's no worm screw there.
That might be why you just really easily loosened your chuck.
Maybe. Go ahead and put on this 11-inch platter.
Brad says that he has 4 that he needs to cut down that are in the backyard? They pretty good size, Brad? Colin says that that's a lovely looking piece. I agree.
Okay, go ahead and bring up the tailstock again to get it better level or balanced.
Ruby says, after roughing, if you coat the whole piece with Anker seal, you'll have little cracking.
That's what I'm planning to do.
Ruby, is it just as effective to only seal the end grains, or do you just recommend the entire piece? Brad says that his pieces are 28 inches wide. Tom with Axe Wood Paste is joined. Hi, Tom. Welcome.
Welcome, Tom and Ann, if Ann's there.
She might be. If so, welcome.
There's a bit of a crack here, if you guys can see it. So this one may not last either. I might try to take a little bit more off the bottom, which yeah, I'll go ahead and do that now and try to get rid of that crack. Again, like I said, this was the quarter sawn bit of wood that was next to the pith that I'm just trying to salvage a little bit from.
Ruby says the whole piece is the best practice. So thanks, Ruby. Good to know. Tom said that Ann's around somewhere.
A little bit more. It's getting a little thinner than I'd like. Hopefully I can avoid any warping. Still there, but I don't know what's going to be worse.
Dave Arthur is in, and he says, I'd like to say a big hello to Harry. Thanks. Welcome, Dave.
Harry says welcome as well.
Brad says, if anybody's near Lumberton, North Carolina, then when he takes those trees down, they're welcome to come get some. Brad, are you on Instagram?
Go a little bit deeper.
Okay, Brad, I might see if my dad maybe might want some. Like I said, he's just south of Charlotte, which is probably an hour and a half to 2 hours away. I was trying to figure out what the easiest way to do. Facebook Messenger. Okay. Brad, I have a page on Facebook under the same name, Tournage Dubois. If you want to shoot me a message just to start a chat, if I talk to my dad and he's interested in some, then I can get your info from you, and get you his information so you can coordinate with him. So you can shoot me a message on Facebook, and I'll just type in the name to look for my page. Radar the Woodturner has joined. Hi, Radar.
Welcome, Radar.
Steve asks, is Harry okay? He seems kind of lethargic this morning.
Yeah, he's good. But you know, he usually goes out on Friday nights, so you catch him when he's hungover.
So with Haj, real quick, with the craft fair that you're participating in on the 27th, what are you planning on? What are you thinking about working on?
I'll get it out the blank. I've bought this on Instagram through Worldwide Burls a long time ago, but it's a maple burl platter blank. Well, I turned it into a platter blank, but you can see the nice figure, even though it's rough cut.
Nice.
So probably do that with an oil finish, most likely, just so I can fit it within an hour. So
Gonna look awesome.
And then I'll go ahead and do the big one next, because you know that's always the funnest. Actually, no, I won't, because that one's a different chuck. I'll go ahead and do this little bowl, which hopefully doesn't explode since there's a crack.
Yeah, don't let it explode.
Yeah, it shouldn't. It's not that big of a crack. But I don't see it getting to the drying phase without cracking. And I've got so much of this wood, I wouldn't even mess with it.
Colin said he's watching, but he's glued to the TV at the moment. They're watching rugby and they're beating Italy 22-0. Is that Wales playing Italy, Colin? Steve Combs. That goes a long way toward explaining a lot. Give him a little hair of the dog. Fix him right up.
So, you know, for anybody that's watched my channel, they see that I haven't done much in resin, but I kind of have an idea in the works. We have a white cat that sheds way too much, and my wife recently bought this comb that we brush him to get a lot of the hair from just ending up everywhere in our house. So I might make a cat hair resin bowl once I save up enough.
That would be pretty interesting, I think.
Yeah. Hope none of y'all steal my idea.
Well, I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, so I'm not going to, because then I'd have to brush them, and that's a lot of work.
I think that's as thick as I will leave this bowl.
Bill said, just don't put the cat in resin.
Yeah.
Brad, I just texted my dad to see if he'd be interested, so we'll see if he replies. He's not the best at it sometimes.
Anything, Daniel, you should just tell him to take some, and then you can pick it up later at some point when you visit or something.
Yeah. Tom says, or any beaver pelts. Harry wouldn't like that.
No. All right, I think that's it for this bowl. And then I will go ahead and swap. Actually, loosen the set screw now.
Yeah, Rob said he had some catches this morning because his wife had just gotten home from the hospital. So he was kind of rushing. he said he's hoping that it'll work. So hopefully everything will come out good and she'll be back at it, Rob. Somebody's got to keep you in line anyway, right?
Now, take out the bowl so it doesn't rust the chuck. And like Ruby mentioned earlier, after I get all these roughed, I'll coat them completely in Anker Seal. Or, well, I don't have Anker Seal, but I have the Rockler version of it, which seems pretty similar. It's a little thinner from what I remember Anker Seal to be. So now I'll get the bigger platter blink.
Douglas Mungham has to go. Have a good one, sir.
Bring up the tailstock to get it more balanced. Wasn't really expecting to get this far along with all of them. I didn't know it'd go so fast.
Yeah, you still got 13 minutes too.
I've never done production turning sort of roughing out before, so.
How long will you leave them to dry?
I don't know. I've got loads of bowls already accumulated on shelves, so I mean, if it's about an inch thick, I guess it's an inch a year, so I don't know, probably sometime next year.
Have to it might be quicker to have Duca fly down and build you a kiln. Rural life with the Rosses. Good morning, host and everyone. Welcome
Rosses, which I assume is the last name.
Yes.
Turn the speed down. Seems fairly balanced, so clean off the face. Oh, be good to tighten down the tool rest.
Yeah, Bill, my buddy Jim, who's the first turner I really built a relationship with after I picked up this, he has one of those Rick Turns drying boxes in his garage and is drying a big piece of cottonwood burl that he's working on. So it works really, really well. Kevin Howell is back.
Welcome back, Kevin.
George Pacelli, I apologize if I mispronounced your name, has joined. Welcome, George.
So I'm just looking at the grain. Right, there's some bark here, which I'll have to turn down the OD a little bit, but I was just looking at the grain to see kind of an idea of what kind of platter I want to go with, if I want to do like a wide rim platter or not, which I think I'll do.
Is that a crack on the opposite side as your finger? At the top half, right? Okay, down a little bit from where your thumb is.
Here?
Yeah, it looked like a crack.
There's a bit of a chainsaw mark.
Okay.
I don't see any cracking on this one.
Good. And unfortunately today, since this is just roughing in work, we're not going to get to see any of the Axe abrasive paste at work. But I'm sure Hodge will be using that in the near future well, of course, in all of his videos he uses it, but
my premiere tomorrow, I'll be using it.
Absolutely. Dr. Bob has joined. Hi, Dr. Bob.
Welcome, Dr. Bob.
Also up in Michigan, if I remember correct.
Yeah, he is.
Bill Ellis said he's seen people use diluted Elmer's glue. I know some people who have done that as well. When they get it on sale, they just dilute it and use it. Says it works well. Tommy's Workshop says he uses an old fridge with a vivarium mat in as a kiln. Sits at just over 22 degrees Celsius. I know a lot of people use incandescent light bulbs for those kilns as well to help generate a little heat.
All right.
Todd with Duca Heritage just built a kiln out of an upright freezer, and that's going to be his video that premieres tomorrow late afternoon U.S. time. But his is self-contained, so there's no air vents. At least that's the way he's kind of explained it as I've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of interesting to see how his setup works. And
you mentioned it having basically like a dehumidifier, basically, I think.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. I think I'm going to leave it. I guess this is about an inch thick, and it's fairly shallow curve on the outside, so I'm nearly done with this one after I remove the little bump in the middle.
Get some good ability to shape it with it being as thick as it is.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know how much this thing will end up warping. We shall see. But I love you can kind of see the flamey look to it.
Benjamin said that he experimented with 2 coats of 50/50 PVA and water, and then pure PVA on another, and all the logs cracked. That's unfortunate. I know I have some Anker seal. Hodge, just in our talking, you have some stuff that you got from... where'd you get it? It's not Anker seal, but it's you said it was a little bit thinner than Anker
from
seal.
Rockler.
Yeah, that's right, Rockler. So there's different places that have similar products out that seem to work pretty well. Yak Branson has to go. Have a great day. Hey, see you later, Yak. Thanks for coming by.
I know when my wood-turning club locally used to meet up, they would go in together and buy a 55-gallon drum of Anker seal, which is obviously a lot cheaper if you buy in bulk, and then they'd just tell people to bring containers, and I think they sold it for $10 a gallon maybe, which I think is like over 50% off the retail price
wow.
of these gallon sizes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Doug, so you see the grain pretty well here.
Yeah.
You got the orange.
Yeah, Doug Miller says it'll be interesting to see if there's any color changes as the blank dries. Yeah. The nice thing is, though, is it'll dry and the colors might fade, but then as you turn it away and then you do your finishes and stuff, it'll bring a lot of that color right back out.
Yeah, so here's the big platter, which hopefully will stay intact. And then the other guys here, just 2 11-inch ones. They also have some pretty cool grain. This one doesn't have any heart or sapwood in it. And this bowl, I don't know how well it'll do. There's a crack going right here. So we'll see. But I'll get those covered in an Anker seal. And then I think my plan for later today will be one of my smaller bowl blanks that I got from this tree, which is this guy right here, which is pretty deep. I'm going to try to do an in-grain, or not an in-grain,
live edge.
Live edge on it.
A live edge cauldron.
Yeah, or maybe like a calabash shape, I think is what I'm going to go for, but it's 9 inches deep.
Wow.
So that should be fun. That's my plan next.
Lots of comments on the figurine and the pieces looking good.
And then that was from 2 pieces of the center section of a log. And I still have 2 more of those. One of them's even thicker. So this thing's at least 50 pounds.
Wow. That's a nice one.
All right. See if I can get it all in frame. That's as high as my camera goes.
Well, that can almost turn on your lathe.
I was thinking of trying to use my other lathe tool bed as the tool rest and then move the headstock to the end, but it wasn't high enough. Yeah, so this is 2 feet by 2 feet. So it'd be what, I guess a 24-inch platter.
Yeah, and you've got I wish we were closer because I have a tool rest stand that's just stands on the floor and you can
Yeah.
adjust the height. I wish we were closer. I'd give it to you.
And it's four inches thick. And then I've got
Wow.
another one that's not quite as big, but
Bill Ellis wants to know when we're going to see that one going.
no idea.
What I'll do, Hodge, I'll take a picture of my tool rest stand and shoot it to you and see if you maybe can find somebody to make something or find something similar.
Well, I know they have Craft Supply sells the Powermatic versions that you can buy, but they're like $250, I think.
Right.
So it's not something that I would need too often, so I'll just leave it as is. I'm sure I could make something or fabricate something similarly, but that's another project at another day.
Dr. Bob, going back to the Anker seal stuff that you talked about with your group, that the Detroit area Woodturners does the same. It's always cheaper by the gallon.
Yeah. But this is the stuff that I picked up from Rockler. It works well. It seems to last a while. I coated all the wood that I got from the truck with this, and I still over at least a third of it left. And I had done a lot of stuff beforehand either.
Tom's got to go. Says keep up the great work. Have a good one, Tom. Stay safe.
See you later, Tom. And I guess I'll go ahead and end this thing a little short. So thank you all for coming by, and I will see most of you in a later chat or in the premiere tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye, guys.